ओम शांति। वेलकम टू अव्यक्ति परिवार। अव्यक्ति परिवार में आपका स्वागत है। आज हमारा सौभाग्य है जो जयंती दीदी हमारे साथ हैं और हम उनसे अव्यक्त वाणी सुनेंगे। वी विल लिसन टू साकार वाणी from Jayanti Didi. It's our fortune today. So please select the language for your translation. आज हिंदी में मुरली सुनते हैं, पर जनरली दीदी से सुनते हैं, मोइनी दीदी से। आज हमारे पास जयंती दीदी है, तो आज हम इंग्लिश में सुनेंगे। तो आप ट्रांसलेशन के लिए हिंदी लैंग्वेज सिलेक्ट करिए। थैंक यू।
Murli's. Then Baba went on to the subject of soul, drama, and then the tree. And now Baba's taking up 3 topics: soul and God and the home. And of course, other aspects too, but specifically these 3. And Baba's calling the home the sweet home, and that it's now the time to journey back home again. And so what we have to do is forget the old world completely. There was a very interesting story that came up yesterday in the dialogue, and it was how Abraham was asked to sacrifice his son, and young people were asking the father, how could God do that? And the father reflected on it, and he said, it's possible that we've misinterpreted what God wanted. God really wanted the father to have total detachment from the son and be able to forget that he is his son and to remember that he's God's son. And so it's interesting how people are beginning to look at the spiritual concepts that underlie the stories that we've been hearing in the Judeo-Christian background also. But it was then this morning reading the Murli, Baba, of course yesterday then a big discussion on detachment, but today again Baba telling us to forget the old world completely. And so no pulls, no attractions, no attachments to the old world. This is the Murli of the 28th of June, and the essence. I wonder what was the Hindi Murli I read. Let me see. Yeah, I read the Hindi Murli of the 29th. Yeah. So, the 29th of June, thank you. Sweet children, everything you can see, including your bodies, is to be destroyed. You souls now have to return home, and you must therefore forget this old world. Question: with which words can you give the Father's message to everyone? Answer: tell everyone that the unlimited Father has come to give the unlimited inheritance. The time of limited inheritances has now come to an end. That is, devotion has come to an end. The kingdom of Ravan is now ending. The Father has come to liberate you from Ravan's jail of the 5 vices. This is the most auspicious confluence age, and you therefore have to make effort and become those with divine virtues. If you only understand that this is the most auspicious confluence age. Your stage can be elevated. Just remembering Sangam Yug, and your stage is elevated because you know what you have to do. Om Shanti. What are you spiritual children doing? You are sitting in unadulterated remembrance. One is unadulterated remembrance, and the other is adulterated remembrance. When unadulterated remembrance or unadulterated devotion first begins, everyone worships Shiva. He alone is God, the highest on high. He is also the Father and Teacher. He teaches you. What does he teach you? He changes you from human beings into deities. It takes you children 84 births to change from deities into human beings, and it takes only a second to change from human beings into deities. You children know that you are sitting in remembrance of the Father. He is also our teacher and Satguru. The yoga he teaches us is to stay in the remembrance of one. He himself says, O souls, O children, renounce all bodily relationships because you now have to return home. This old world is now changing. You no longer have to stay here. They have created armaments, etc., to destroy the old world. Natural calamities will also help. I was using the English expression, natural calamities. Destruction definitely has to take place. You are at the most auspicious confluence age. You souls know that we are now to return home. This is why the Father says, you have to renounce this old world and these old bodies. Everything you see in this world, including your bodies, is to be destroyed. Even bodies have to be destroyed. We souls now have to return home. We will not be able to go to the new world without first going back home. You are now making effort to become the most elevated human beings. Deities are the most elevated human beings. The highest of all is the incorporeal Father. Then, in the human world, the deities are the highest. They too are human beings, but they have divine virtues. Then they become those with devilish qualities, devilish traits. You now have to change from having devilish traits to having divine virtues. You have to go to the golden age. Who has to go there? You children have to go there. You children are studying and also teaching others. Both go together. And the better the student you are, the better the teacher you are. And as you teach, you learn more and more. You just have to give the Father's message. The unlimited Father has come to give the unlimited inheritance. limited inheritances are now coming to an end. The Father has explained that all human beings are in Ravan's jail of the 5 vices. All continue to take sorrow. That was used in analogy. They just receive dry chapatis, the state of the world today. The Father comes and liberates you all from Ravan's jail and makes you constantly happy. No one, apart from the Father, can change human beings into deities. You are sitting here to change from human beings into deities. It is now the Iron Age, and there are many religions. The Father himself sits here and gives you children the introduction of the Creator and the creation. You just used to say, God, the Supreme Soul. You didn't know that He is also your Father, Teacher, and Guru. He is called the Satguru. He is called the immortal image too. You are called souls and human beings. That immortal image is now sitting on the throne of this body. He doesn't take birth. So the immortal image, the Father, explains to you children. This term, immortal image, is specifically from the Sikh scriptures, Akal Murat. And so Baba, Sakar Baba, used to study before Shiv Baba came. So Dada Lek Raj, he used to study the Granth and the Gita and all other scriptures too. Sindh and Punjab, it's absolutely neighbors. And so the study of the Granth was very dominant within the families at that time. But Gita and this both. The Father explains to you children, I do not have a chariot of my own, so how can I purify you children? I need a chariot. Even the immortal image needs a throne. It is human beings who have immortal thrones. No one else has this throne. Each one of you needs a throne. That soul, the immortal image, is present here. He is the Father of all. He is also called the Great Death. He does not enter into rebirth. You souls enter into rebirth. I come at the confluence age of the cycle. The Great Death is the one, 2 different things. The one who liberates us from death. So for half a cycle, there's no death as such, just a transition. But also the Great Death, the one who brings the massive end of evil. And so all souls leaving bodies and going home, the Great Death. I come at the confluence age of the cycle. Devotion is called the night, and this knowledge is called the day. Remember this very firmly. There are just 2 main things, Alpha and Beta, the Father and the sovereignty. The Father comes and gives you the sovereignty. He teaches you how to attain this. This is why this is also called a school. God speaks, God is incorporeal, there also has to be his part. He is God, the highest on high, and everyone remembers him. The Father says, there isn't a human being on the path of devotion who doesn't remember me. Everyone remembers me in his or her heart. O God, O Liberator, O God the Father. He is the Father of all souls. He must definitely give unlimited happiness. Limited fathers give limited happiness. No one knows that the Father has now come, and he says, children, break away from everyone else and remember me, your Father alone. The Father has also told you that you reside as deities in the new world. There is limitless happiness there. There is no end to the happiness there. In a new house, there is always happiness, whereas in an old house, things keep falling apart, things keep breaking down, sorrow is experienced. This is why a father has a new house built for his children. The intellect's yoga of his children is diverted to the new house. That is something limited. The unlimited Father is now creating the new world. You are at the confluence age. You can see one side, the Iron Age, and also the Golden Age. At the confluence age, you are seeing everything as detached observers. When people come to the exhibitions or museums, make them aware of the confluence age. On this side is the Iron Age, and on the other side is the Golden Age, and we are in the middle. The words that people resonate with, even without hearing too much gyan, is the darkness of this world and a future world of light, of truth, because everyone agrees that the world has become very dark and heavy and violent and ugly. And so you just have to tell them this is the transition between the dark age and the new world of light, and it clicks. The Father is establishing the new world where there are very few human beings. None of those of other religions go there. Only you go there first of all. You are now making effort to go to heaven. You called out to be made pure by me, saying, O Baba, purify us and take us to the pure world. You don't say, take us to the land of peace. The supreme abode is called the sweet home. We now have to return to the home, which is also called the land of liberation. It is for this that sannyasis, etc., give teachings. Sannyasis don't talk about paradise, heaven. They talk about mukti, liberation, nirvana. They cannot give any knowledge of the land of happiness. They belong to the path of isolation. You children have been told which religion comes at which time. In the human world, the tree, there is first your foundation. The seed is called the Lord of the tree. The Father says, I, the Lord of the tree, reside up above. When the tree reaches a state of total decay, I come to establish the deity religion. This is a wonderful banyan tree, which is standing without any foundation. All the other branches take root, and the middle disappears. In this unlimited tree, too, the original, eternal deity religion doesn't exist. All the other religions exist here. You were residents of the incorporeal world. You came down here to play your parts. You children play all round parts. Therefore, there is a maximum of 84 births and a minimum of 1 birth. People then speak of 8.4 million births. How much karma would you accumulate if it was, never mind, 8.41 million births and no possibility of settling that karma anywhere along the line? They don't understand who would have these births. The Father comes and explains to you children that you take 84 births. I asked a very famous guru at one point. He'd come to London and he was staying with a family we know, and they're connected with Brahma Kumaris long term. And so Dadi was in London. She said she wouldn't go to meet him, but I should go. And so I took flowers and fruits and choli and went to see him. And he was very silent. So I had to start a conversation. So first I was just telling him that, yes, we have centers in London and outside. And then I said, Swamiji, how long do you think Kali Yuga is still going to last? And he gave the classic answer, 40,000 years. And I said, but Swamiji, there is so much sorrow, so much suffering. All this is going to increase for the next 40,000 years? He says, yes, of course. So there wasn't much margin to have another conversation. And I thought I was asking a simple question. If I'd started with God omnipresent, I don't know what would have happened. But the hosts were sitting there too, so I thought I'd just be respectful and leave it at that. And so then I just handed over the flowers and the fruits and took leave. But he really wasn't interested to hear anything. And he was a very famous Swami. And secondly, he also wasn't going to budge from what he'd heard in the scriptures or read in the scriptures, because his whole life had been based on that. So he wasn't about to change his mind. So what has happened recently? Well, since the 80s, gradually, 2 souls in particular, Prem Ben, who's now passed away, she was in Haridwar, and Dehradun in Haridwar. Both are close, one at the bottom and the other at the top of the mountain. And the other one, Surendraben in Benares, both strongholds of gurus and sannyasis. So with a lot of humility and a lot of patience, they just kept going to the sannyasis with a lot of love, giving them flowers and fruits, but not just once, but many times. And finally, then they came to Abu. in the middle of the 80s. I remember the year because 86 was the year of peace, and 85, just before that, was a time that the first sannyasis came in big numbers. And today they come to ORC, Om Shanti Retreat Center, regularly. And Brij Mumbai is gradually softening them up to accept that the sermonizer of the Gita is Shiv Baba. They understand when they listen personally. When they get on the platform, it's gone. They will not speak about that in public, but a day will come. Baba said it's going to happen, so it's going to happen. So, the Father comes and explains to you children that you take 84 births. You are the ones who become separated from me first. At first, golden aged deities exist. When those souls are playing their parts here, where have all the other souls gone? Only you know that all the rest of the souls are in the land of peace at that time. So the land of peace is separate. 3 religions have mixed it up and said heaven is up there. Actually, not just the 3, but also Hinduism, Jainism. They show the deities up above. So the land of peace is separate. However, there is just this world. The parts are enacted here. In the new world, you have to play the parts of happiness, whereas in the old world, you have to play the parts of sorrow. This is a play about happiness and sorrow. That is the kingdom of Rama. No human being in the world knows how the world cycle turns. They neither know the creator nor the beginning, the middle, or the end of creation. Only the Father is called the ocean of knowledge. The knowledge of the creator and the beginning, middle, and end of creation is not mentioned in any of the scriptures. I tell you this, and it then disappears. It doesn't remain in the golden age. Only the ancient, easy Raj Yoga of Bharat has been remembered. The name Raj Yoga is also mentioned in the Gita. The Father teaches you Raj Yoga and gives you the inheritance of the kingdom. You cannot receive the inheritance from the creation. You receive the inheritance from the Father, the Creator. Each human being is a creator because each one creates children. They are limited Brahmas, and this one is the unlimited Brahma. That one is the Father of incorporeal souls. A physical father is a worldly father, whereas this one is Prajapita, the father of humanity. When does Prajapita have to exist? In the golden age? No. Today Baba's got questions for us. So then Baba answers the questions. In the golden age? No. He has to exist at the most auspicious confluence age. People don't know when the confluence, the golden age exists. They have said that the golden and iron ages, etc., last for hundreds of thousands of years. The Father explains, each age is 1250 years. There has to be the account of 84 births. There also has to be the account of the ladder, showing how you come down. First, there are the deities as the foundation. After them come those of Islam and Buddhist religion. The Father has also explained to you the secrets of the tree. No one except the Father can teach you this. People ask you, how were these pictures made? Who taught you that? Tell them, Baba showed them to us in trance, and we then created them here. Then the Father enters this chariot and corrects them by saying, do it like this and like that. So first the vision, then explanation to the artists. The artists do the picture, and then Shiv Baba comes through Brahma Baba and explains. He corrects them himself. Sri Krishna is called Shyam Sundar, the ugly and the beautiful. But people cannot understand why he is called that. When he was the master of paradise, he was beautiful. And then, when he became a village urchin, he became ugly. And this is why he is called Shyam Sundar. He is the one who comes first. And who else? Baba saying, the same applies to you also. The kingdom of Lakshmi and Narayan continues. Who establishes the original eternal deity religion? No one knows that. They have forgotten Bharat and said that the Hindus are residents of Hindustan. I only come in Bharat. There used to be the kingdom of the deities in Bharat. That has now disappeared. I come to establish it once again. First of all, there is the original, eternal deity religion. This tree continues to grow. New leaves, sects and cults come to an end, so they also add to the beauty. Then at this time, when the whole tree reaches a stage of total decay, I come once again. It is said, whenever there is extreme unrighteousness, irreligiousness, I come. Souls do not know themselves or the Father. You continue to insult yourselves, the Father, and the deities. When you become tamopradhan, not just impure, but another thing connected with impurity, senseless. Purity, and there's truth, there's wisdom. Impurity, and there's no wisdom. So when you become tamopradhan and senseless, I come. I have to come into the pure, impure world. You give human beings the donation of life. Baba's giving his title to all of us. He is the bestower of life, and he's saying, you also give human beings the donation of life. That is, you change human beings into deities. You remove them from all sorrow, and that too for half a cycle. What is the memorial of this? That God's children have actually done the task together with God of bringing life to the old world, to human beings who have no life left in them at all. It is remembered, salutations to the mothers. Most classes I go to, India and abroad, it's 2/3 sisters, mothers, and 1/3 brothers, except in the Middle East. In the Middle East, it's 2/3 brothers and 1/3 sisters. Why? Because lots of brothers come to work in the Middle East from India. And there, of course, it's all brothers from India. So they come to work, and some have their families with them, some don't. And so when I first saw the class in Dubai, I was surprised. Majority were brothers. But I was saying, salutations to the mothers. Who are the mothers whom you praise? You mothers are the ones who make the whole world into heaven. Does it give you intoxication? That Baba's saluting to you? That Baba's saying that you're the ones who create heaven? And the brothers are happy, right? The brothers are happy that mothers are being given the chance. Yesterday, this whole question about one particular individual, he said that, and he's come here several times, and he's quite high up within many different worlds in education, in lots of things. But he said, why I keep coming here is because I see how it's the feminine power, and it's young women and mothers who've surrendered their lives to God for the service of humanity. And I'm very touched by that. He said this within the gathering. And then the whole subject came up about women and Brahma Baba and how the yajna started. And then one other woman picked it up and she said, but how is it that mothers are selected, women are selected to be the leaders? And today I was talking about, you tell them about the pictures being created in trance. And when I think back to the story of the yajna, then Brahma Baba's departure, and 18th January, then on the 21st, Shiv Baba comes and puts the rose on Didi's head, the rose on Dadiji's head, and then checks, is everyone happy? Does anyone have any question? Baba actually looked around, 700 people there, and nobody had any questions, nobody had any comments. And when Baba said, are you all happy? Everybody nodded their heads. And so, not in such detail, but I just said that they were appointed through the divine to be the leaders. And after that, the constitution was written, in which it's by constitution that it'll be women who'll be the leaders. And so when I had to speak about how were the sisters chosen, I had to talk about the trance medium, that it was through the trance medium that this happened. And credit to this group, nobody has asked about what you mean by trance mediums or channels, because it's come up a couple of times with the story of Brahma Baba and where did you get your study from? What are you doing in the mornings? What are you studying? So they've been asking very deep questions. And I think it's because many of them have been here before, but also many new ones. But the atmosphere is one of a lot of respect and love. And so they're ready to hear details, very deep aspects of Gyan. So, you mothers are the ones who make the whole world into heaven. Although there are men here too, the majority of you are mothers. This is why the Father praises you mothers. the Father comes and makes you worthy of so much praise. To the sweetest, and that applies to brothers and mothers, the Father comes and makes you worthy of so much praise. Are you brothers happy that mothers have been put in front? Yes? Who is unhappy? No one. Right, they wouldn't be here. True. To the sweetest, beloved, long lost, and now found children, love, remembrance, and good morning from the Mother, the Father, Bap Dada, the spiritual Father, says Namaste to the spiritual children. And the essence for the Dharana. In order to go to the world of limitless happiness, stand at the confluence. Become a detached observer, and while seeing everything, connect your intellect in yoga to the new world. Let it remain in your intellect that you are now to return home. 2. Give everyone the donation of life and do the service of changing human beings into deities. Study with the unlimited Father and also teach others. Imbibe and inspire others to imbibe divine virtues. Blessing. May you be a fortunate soul and constantly sing songs of Va Va while performing elevated acts according to the elevated time. At this elevated time, constantly sing songs of Va Va in your mind while performing elevated acts. Va, my elevated acts, or another step in this, or Va Baba, who teaches me to perform elevated acts. So constantly sing songs of Va Va. Do not let words of desperation emerge even by mistake out of sorrow, even when you see any scenes of sorrow. Va, drama va, va, baba va. The fortune you never thought of or dreamt about, you received while sitting at home. Maintain the intoxication of this fortune. Slogan: make your mind and intellect so powerful that you remain unshakable and immovable in any upheaval. Do I have the guarantee that I can stay unshakable no matter what happens? The Avyakt signals.
Hello.
While
Abhiman Centers के प्रजापिता ब्रह्मा मुख वंशावली सर्वसेवल बच्चों प्रति मधुबन से रूहानी बाप दादा और बच्चों का दिलवदान से प्रेम से सभी बच्चों को याद प्यार और गुड मॉर्निंग.
And good morning.
रूहानी बच्चों पे रूहानी बाप व दादा का दिलवदान से प्रेम से याद प्यार और गुड मॉर्निंग. मीठे मीठे सिकले रूहानी बच्चों पे रूहानी बाप का नमस्ते. देखिए बॉम्बे निवासी सभी सर्वसेवल प्रजापिता ब्रह्मा कुलभूषण बेटी निष्ठ खुश रहो और आबाद रहो, न विसरो न याद रहो.
Baba's beautiful addition today, love and remembrances, but also to all the Madhuban Nivasis also, the Yad Pyar and Namaste, but also may you always stay happy, may you always stay eternal and fulfilled, and may you never be remembered, may you never be forgotten. So, if you remember someone, then that's not good. But if you forget, that's also not good. So that was beautiful. Thank you. Okay. So
पिता और बाप दादा का याद प्यार और गुड मॉर्निंग रूहानी बाप की रूहानी बच्चों को नमस्ते.
हम अपने बच्चों की रूहानी माँ पिता बाप दादा को याद प्यार गुड मॉर्निंग और नमस्ते.
Dada Chandrasa's voice on the tape. I think we're ready for the Avyakt signal now. While playing the part of a karma yogi, check the balance of karma and yoga. It's always relevant, but it's particularly relevant when it's a very busy time. Did my actions and remembrance, that is yoga, both remain powerful? If your actions were powerful and there was less remembrance, then there isn't balance. And if your remembrance is powerful and your actions are not powerful, then also there is no balance. So continue to have balance of karma and remembrance. By staying in this elevated stage throughout the day, you will experience yourself to becoming close to the karmatit stage. Throughout the day, while walking and moving, while eating and drinking, to stay in the karmatit stage or the avyakt angelic stage is the karma yogi stage. Think about the karmatit stage, think about the avyakt angelic stage. So Baba's signal is absolutely at the top. Karmatit, avyakt. Let's have a few minutes of yoga and then a few reflections.
धीरज नहीं।
ओ बाबा बाहें फैलाए, हर घड़ी मुस्कुराते,
मना लो मन से मिलन,
मना लो मन से मिलन।
उड़ चलो पार गगन,
वही है अपना वतन। उड़ो अब बिंदु बनकर,
देह अभिमान तज कर।
उड़ो अब बिंदु बनकर। है बाबा सबसे निराले, वो संगम पर ही है आते। है बाबा सबसे निराले, वो संगम पर ही है आते। बनो संपन्न बच्चों, हमें देते इशारे, हमें देते इशारे।
हमें देते इशारे।
अनुभव से है कहते, बाबा का संदेश देते। बनाते स्वर्णिम चमन, बनाते स्वर्णिम चमन।
उड़ चलो पार गगन,
वही है अपना वतन। उड़ो अब बिंदु बनकर, देह अभिमान तज कर। उड़ो अब बिंदु बनकर, देह
अभिमान तज कर। उड़ चलो पार गगन,
वही है अपना वतन। उड़ो अब बिंदु बनकर, देह
अभिमान तज कर।
उड़ो अब बिंदु बनकर, देह
अभिमान तज कर।
Om Shanti.
Recording stopped.
First, a few thoughts about the Murli, and then some of the questions that have come up in the dialogue. And so, Baba reminding us that on one side
Recording
you're
in
seeing
progress.
the end of the old, and on the other side you see Satyug. And so, what should I be thinking about? I don't need to think about the how and the why and the if and the but of what's happening there. It's all going to come crashing down. And in fact, one of the reasons why souls are so open at the moment, and I keep seeing that in every retreat in Oxford and here, and I think it's because they see the collapse of all the systems. And really, it's a worldwide phenomenon. It's not one or two places, but it's everywhere. And whatever packaging there might be on the service, oh, we're doing fine. But in fact, reality is that all the systems, health systems, the economic system, the ecosystem, everything is falling down. And so Baba told us a long time ago that this was going to happen. It was like with COVID. People out there were shocked that this is happening, that the whole world has come to a standstill. And a few months earlier, in February, they could not have imagined that by the end of March, everything would have stopped, which it did. And yet it did, and Baba's children were saying, well, we knew already. We didn't know how long it was going to last, we didn't know exact details, but we knew that Baba had spoken about such situations where you wouldn't be able to leave your own home. Baba talked about it. And so today, as we see the collapse of everything, it's really Baba's children saying, well, we knew it already. And so having known that, say for example, if you know that winter is coming, what do you do? There's a lot of preparation you make. I don't know what the system is here, but there you have to make sure that the pipes that are outside are lagged. You have to make sure that you've got enough stock of fuel. You've got to make sure that you've got your warm clothes, the right foods in stock. It's preparation, preparation. So on the one side, it's preparation for the resilience. Baba telling us that my mind and my intellect have to be stable. And so a question, when little things go out of place, what happens? Do I get into confusion? Do I get into upheaval? Why? Or am I able to stand back and say, it's okay, and keep a smile? Not just say, it's okay, I suppose, but really steady, stable, and I know what's going on inside of me, and Baba knows. Others maybe just see the exterior, but I know to what extent I have prepared myself for the coming times. But also, I know how far I've prepared myself for Satyug. So one is the stability I need today, but the other is the beauty of the divine virtues. Daddy used to say to us, when I walk into Global House, I want to be able to feel that it's a deity kingdom already. And it's a lovely image. So when people walk into Peace Village, do they feel it's a deity kingdom already? Not luxury or anything external, but the loving relationship of all together. So what she meant by the deity kingdom is that everything works together in harmony with love and respect. And so do I have that awareness of the change of sanskars I need to have. Somebody said to Dadi at one point, but I don't see anything in this individual that I should give them respect for. And Dadi said, whatever they are is their karma, but why are you here? You are here to create your deity sanskaras. Whether they deserve or don't deserve is not your judgment. You don't have to be the judge of that, but you have to work on creating the sanskars of respect for all. And so, really, today Baba reminding us, you go home and then you come into your beautiful kingdom, the age of Satyug, but I need to remember, I need to be karmatit and settle everything before I go home, whether it's with Baba's love and the fire of yoga, or whether it's differently, through suffering, whether it's through Dharamraj. 3 ways in which we can become karmatit. Our conscious effort and Baba's love and power and yoga, or suffering, or Dharamraj. But every soul has to settle everything before going home. So yes, I have to go home, so I have to become karmatit, but also I don't want to just sleep through the whole cycle. Imagine if you were told, just sleep, just sleep, just sleep. One day you might say, oh great, this is luxury. So by the second day you'd think, I'm getting a bit bored, I need to do something. And by the third day you'd be ready to run. And so deity souls don't want to just sleep in Paramdham. Deity souls are very action-oriented, which is what we see in Sangam Yuga. But of course, Baba's saying to balance that out. Yes, let the actions be powerful, let there be yoga. But the journey home, that's one particular preparation I need to make. And over the last couple of days, Baba's reminded us, these bodies that you say are so precious and are mine. I've had this body before birth. Even in my mother's womb, I had a body, this body. And we've had bodies through our whole journey. But today, I have to be detached from my body, knowing that I can't take this with me. I can't take anyone else with me. I can't take anything else, but I can't even take this. So in those final moments, will I be able to leave very quickly? Or am I still so attached to the body that it'll be a struggle? You know, for yogi souls, when they leave the body, I've seen that most times the soul flies off very easily. Yes, there's the period prior to the departure, but when it's time to leave, most yogi souls, Brahmin souls, leave very peacefully. And in Lokik world, sometimes they see the struggle that a soul has to leave. And so at the end, two things. Will I be in God's remembrance? And will I be able to slip away from my body? Because I'll have practiced leaving the body. And so the journey home, I have to make these two preparations. The pure, unadulterated remembrance of God, the image of Arjuna, and he was told to see not only the fish, but see the pupil in the eye of the fish. Then you can go home. And so to be able to do that and really truly go home. And then the other thing that Baba was reminding us of today, yes, forget the old world, remember the new, prepare to go home, prepare for Satyug. The other thing that Baba was reminding us of today, really, what is the quality of my actions? This is the most auspicious confluence age, and this is the time when God teaches me good karma. And so am I engaged in good karma and accumulating the power of good karma. And good karma is not connected with the external success. Good karma is pure karma being done out of love for God. Karma can be ordinary karma, I'm doing it for myself, my selfishness. Karma can be because I love my family and I'm doing it for their sake. But elevated karma is when truly I do karma in God's love, in God's remembrance for God. And that includes any and every type of karma. So in Baba's home, whatever it is I do to keep Baba's home clean, to keep Baba's home fresh, to keep Baba's home filled with good vibrations, to keep Baba's home and Bhandara filled so that everyone can be nourished. Whatever it is I'm doing in Baba's home, it is elevated karma, so that then through that elevated karma, I'm creating my fortune for Satyug. In Sakar days, Baba used to say, who are the people that souls remember after they've been in Madhuban, and when they leave Madhuban? They write to Baba, thanking Baba, but they also say, Baba, we want to thank the dadis, whichever dadi was around, but we also want to thank Bholi Dadi. Who knew Bholi Dadi? A good number, but of course the majority didn't. But Bholi Dadi, right until the end of her days, of course she was fully responsible for the kitchen for a long time, but then by the 70s, after Baba became Avyakt, then Dadiji called brothers into the kitchen because the pots got bigger and bigger and bigger, and the sisters just couldn't manage. But Bhuri Dadi never missed out on sitting in the corner of the kitchen. And whenever anyone would go to her, she would have a smile on her face, and you'd ask her for this, that, and the other, and the other. And she said, Chona, Chona, Zarur Lala. Why not? Why not? Definitely, Lala, the beloved child. So she would say that to everyone and for anything. And so, of course, everyone remembered Bholi Dadi. And so it doesn't matter what it is you do in Baba's house. It's not just giving classes, giving lectures, but whatever I do with love for Baba, that's it. That's my fortune. But also it earns blessings. The blessings that come through elevated karma, through elevated consciousness. Through that I take benefit, but also I'm giving benefit, and so I receive those blessings also. And so Sangam Yug, and not only thanking my fortunate karma, but also thanking Baba who taught me that lucky karma that can create my fortune. And so it was nice, Baba reminding us, it's not just my fortune and my good karma, but thank you, Baba, Baba, for teaching me how to do elevated karma. So take away 1 point, 2 point, 3 points from Baba's Murli, and just keep it in your awareness through the whole day. And just to give you a little glimpse of what's happening there, because all of you are serving to make that happen. And today also the day of silence, so everyone's silence will contribute to their experience. And of course, when you join for Amrit Vela, that also contributes to the power of the gathering so that they benefit from that experience. So today, yes, the atmosphere of silence everywhere, so that they're able to have a glimpse of what can happen in silence. But very lovely group, very high level, and we don't get into position or titles or anything like that. So the tag that they wear is just simply the first name, that's it. But when they speak, you can know that they're carrying a wealth of experience with them. And some of them are new, but many of them know the Brahma Kumaris fairly well. And a lot of them watch the YouTube and hear classes, lectures. So can you imagine? Somebody hears who's a professor and he's listening to the Brahma Kumaris on YouTube. It's a very interesting time when people are looking for the answers inside, knowing that whatever we tried outside isn't happening. But because they're such active people, people who've been servers in one form or another, the big question, when there's so much suffering going on in the world, how can we protect ourselves from negativity and suffering? this topic came up many times. And so the response to them from all the BKs was, well, first you have to protect yourself from your inner demons. And with God's power and God's help and with understanding and wisdom, you can recognize what those inner demons are. And with God's power, then you make sure they don't come out into action. But also, you need to take God's love to make yourself so strong that their sorrow doesn't touch you. And this is a lesson for Brahmins still, because still something happens and maybe it doesn't take us days to get over it. Maybe it used to take me days to get over the sorrow that I experienced. But still, two things. One is the sorrow that I take now at this moment because of a situation. But the other is still the sanskar of sorrow that I carry from the past. Everything is fine today, but how come I'm still not happy? There's a sanskar of sorrow that I'm carrying. And so, with God's love, God's grace, I can remove that burden of sorrow that I carry so that I can be free from that and start experiencing the joy that God wants to give me today. And if I can also not be affected by the ups and downs that life brings now, what is it that's causing me sorrow? Maybe something that somebody has said, maybe it's my attachments to people, that's causing me sorrow. Maybe I still have desires that are not fulfilled that are causing me sorrow. It could be a number of things. But can I deal with all the sorrows of this moment of time with God's love, but also gratitude? If you see how much you have, then you won't ever say, I want more, I want this, I want that. There's a little video clip that somebody sent me. And it's interesting, it's a person who very often complains about this thing, that thing, and the other thing. But she sent this little clip, so she must have registered it deeply herself. And the little video clip is of this man, and he's sort of like in his 30s, something like that. He's dark-skinned, so maybe from Asia or Africa somewhere, but he doesn't have hands, neither of his two arms. And what he's doing is using his teeth and his neck and shoulders and his feet. And what he's doing is first taking a rake to clear out some land. First, with his teeth, he picks it up, and then holding it here, he digs away and gets rid of all the weeds, and then he's got a clearing, and then he's cutting trees, or at least the trees have been cut and they're all higgledy-piggledy, and he's picking them up partly with his legs and feet and putting them on here, and then carrying them from here to there. Can you visualize the scene? Can you imagine how much effort? Amazing. And the caption is, how can we be ungrateful for what we have? It's very moving to see this. I didn't talk about it there, but it's just coming to my mind now, how sometimes Brahmins also, we don't appreciate how much Baba has given us. And so little things, I need this, I want this, or just situations, and that causes a reaction. So it came up very strongly, not to take sorrow, so that I can have the capacity to be able to help others through their period of sorrow. If I'm carrying any sorrow, how can I give help to others and make others happy? And so that was a big topic that came up. Another big topic last night, detachment, and how people are really not happy with the word detachment, because to them it implies letting go, forgetting, cutting. And that's not what Baba's saying. Baba's saying forget, don't get pulled. And so they said they preferred the word non-attachment, which is fine. Non-attachment is good. But of course they were talking about dependencies and possessiveness, which is all part of the story. And so even from the things they were sharing, you could see that these are people who've been working on their own inner stage on a spiritual level. And so they're very, very aware and so very open. And so then from the spiritual perspective, talking about the detachment from the body, then detachment from people and things, so that there's no possessiveness. Because when there's possessiveness, there's control. And when there's control, there's going to be sorrow. Because it's not a world in which you can control anything anymore. And how if children feel that you're being possessive and controlling them, they go the other way. They don't support, they don't cooperate, they don't learn. But if you can recognize that they're not my possession, they're God's children, and I have to treat them with that love and respect. And so the balance between, and the Hindi words, of course, first is always nyara, detachment, then pyara. If it's just pyara, the love, then you get trapped by it. But the detachment and then the love. So that was one big topic that came up. The second topic that came up, one was enduring something, and the other one was striving for something, and the third one was thriving. And so the point that the sister who was conducting that little piece was saying that if I have to endure, then I'm not feeling very happy inside. So we have to go beyond that. And then there's a striving. And even in the striving for something, there's a struggle. And maybe in the striving, I'm only just surviving as a human. Then there's the thriving. And so can I actually thrive as a human being? And so lots of interesting discussions around that. But then from the spiritual perspective, I was remembering how there are situations in which you have to tolerate, endure, but still keep stability inside so that you're not affected. And then again, I didn't share it, but this morning I was thinking about the dadis and how they endured that whole period of the beggary part and the establishment of service. Early days, and Karachi was abundance. Then they moved to India. All the money in the pot had run dry. And it was interesting because a family had offered to pay for their travel from Karachi to Abu once they'd found the place in Abu. And at the last minute, they didn't give anything. And so people said, sister said to Baba, Baba, should we remind them? Baba said no. But what happened then, of course, was that everything that was there, because it had already been 13 years of the yajna, that Baba's wealth had supported the yajna. And so in the move to Abu, that was it. Imagine hiring a ship. Imagine hiring a whole train, 350 people. So the beggary part began. But of course, the beggary part was also perfect drama, because the endurance of the dadis and the brothers, but the faith that they had. And of course, it was a time of sickness because They were now on a mountaintop. They had been by the ocean. And so the climate was totally different. It was after the war. Food was anyway being rationed. So all things came together. But the shaking of the tree was that the ones with faith stayed, and the ones with questions, Baba said, the door's open. Anyone can leave at any time. So they did. But that endurance was that which gave them the test of their faith, but also their faith became strong. And they survived that. And then that period in which, and what I did say yesterday was that when you're striving for something, you know that you can have the potential to reach a higher stage. And then you're not stagnant, you're not just waiting, but you're making effort. So even the striving can be benevolent and beneficial. It's helping you move. And then, of course, the thriving, where you experience what God has given and the joy of that. So, as I say, it's a very mature group that's going very deep into different aspects of spirituality and very open and ready to listen. They're asking questions like I shared with you about the feminine, but also Brahma Baba. Very first night, one of them asked, tell us about Brahma Baba. So, and all the work that you're doing, the service that you're doing is, many blessings are coming to you because they love everything. They're enjoying everything here. They're enjoying the beauty of nature. They're enjoying the service that they're receiving, being pampered. But they also, a few of them wanted to do karma yoga, and so they're enjoying that also. Om Shanti. And Om Shanti to all those on Avyakti Parivar webcast. And thank you.
Om
Recording
Shanti,
stopped.
Shanti, Jayanti Ben. Let's give her a big heart. And as you know, Jayanti Ben has been in the country for now more than a week, right?
2 weeks.
2 weeks, 2 weeks. So we could feel the fragrance. You've even been in Peace Village 2 days, right? So we got it closer and closer, and this morning was the real thing, the topping on the cake. So thank you so much for your precious time, your tireless, what should I say? I think it starts with an attitude. Jayanti doesn't look at what she has to do and say this, and this. She doesn't count it. But it comes from such an unlimited insight space that you don't, even think of counting for yourself. So thank you, and again, thank you for bringing not just your presence, but Brahma Baba's presence, Dadiji's presence, Dadi Janki's presence, most importantly. So this is almost like our annual Dadi's visit now, right? So thank you so much, and I appreciate it. First, for Toli.